The scale does not define you, right? It does not define your results. We are not perfect. We are far from perfect. We're going to fall. We're going to cry. We're going to bleed. We're going to struggle. We're going to suffer. We're going to complain. We're going to get pissed off. We're going to get angry. We're going to get antsy. We want results. Stop comparing your journey, your story to anyone else. You are only fighting the person in the mirror. To me, failure is just a stepping stone. It's a learning experience. It is a stepping stone and a learning experience of, hey, I tried something. It didn't work out this time. Let me go back. How do I get better? What's up, guys? How's it going? It's your boy. I always ask this question, but I just can't help it. I have to ask it again. You know who this is, right? What's going on? How are you? This is Raheel Siddiqui, your host, the one and only. Welcome to Wallbreaker 200, and I am so excited, so fired up as always to be here. Man, where are we now? The middle of June. Want to start off by saying Happy Father's Day to all of you guys out there. Hope everybody ate well. Hope all of you dads had a great time with your families, got spoiled. Again, ate well, but then also made sure you got that burn off. Like the way I had to this morning, man. I was rumbling, I was tumbling, I was stumbling on that treadmill this morning. Hit that weight room clanging and banging, and had some amazing pancakes and eggs that my wife had made for Father's Day brunch, and definitely felt it in the stomach, but got it burned off, felt great, and just felt spoiled overall. So yeah, man, let's get to it. So, well, a couple things I had to say really quick about the NBA Finals, man. I know I sound like the typical bitter Knicks fan, but it's okay, forgive me. But I can't believe it's 2-2, and I was reading after games 1 and 2, it was literally the lowest viewed NBA Finals since 1988. And I'm taking a shot at my Knicks because I'm so pissed off that you guys just couldn't make the finals, man, and took that joy away from me. But as they always say, the dreaded line that I've heard for the last 42 years, next year. But either way, I want to talk about something really important, and I feel like it's a topic that I might have touched upon, earlier in the past, but something that I really wanted to dedicate this episode to, and that's, man, I can't believe it. It's about a big box that has numbers on it, and that's right. I should have made it a riddle. The scale. Ugh, the dreaded freaking scale. And I want to talk about just tips on having strength over the scale, how you can be mentally tough and not let the scale define you, define your progress, define the results that you are seeing, but the scale might not be showing. How to really overcome that defeat that you feel when you feel like you are working so hard for 1 week, 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, and then all of a sudden the number is just not moving. Believe me, bro. I know. If anybody knows, I know. Okay. I feel like even though I'm so blessed and so thankful and so grateful to lose 200 freaking pounds, believe me, there are so many moments and days where I felt like I could have lost it maybe sooner. And I know, obviously, man, like my journey, my story, it is what it is. That's how life made it out to be. However it was, however it was meant to be, it was meant to be. And I truly mean I wouldn't change it for the world. But I'm talking about the pure frustration of it, right? It's always like, you're human, right? So you want that gratification, instant gratification. I feel like we're all guilty of it. I know I am. I used to be, at least, in terms of you're putting in the work, you want the results now. You want results now, right away, instant gratification right away. But then you realize over time, over life, especially on a journey like this, which is truly a lifelong journey, that you can't think like that, man. You just can't. You have to really appreciate, the process of it all, right? The entire journey of it all. So with that being said, I want to get into it a little bit. So the scale, man, let me just tell you straight up. Just to quickly summarize, when I started team weight loss class, I went 3 days a week, 1 hour a day. I stepped on the scale. I lost about 5 pounds. I told you guys this too in my previous episodes. Just if you know me, week 2, I went I was like, wow, okay, after week one, I lost 5 pounds. What if I just come 7 days a week, including my class, and just, put in some extra cardio, put in some extra work? What would happen? I ended up losing about 17, 18 pounds week two. And that was the first time with, the light switch really went off. I didn't quit. I actually stuck with it. I didn't tell myself, you know what? Oh my God, like feel discouraged, felt down on myself, felt like, oh man, like having like a defeated mentality. I actually put the work in and the results came. And then why did the results come? Because I didn't stop. I didn't quit. I kept showing up for the first time in 27 years. So that really was an amazing feat. But as time went on, as the months went on, even though I was losing weight, I still had those moments, man, where I would do the same thing for 3 or 4 days in a row and the scale wasn't moving. And I got so obsessive over it that I was checking the scale. If you guys don't know this, and I'm glad I'm talking about this, but I was checking the scale maybe 3 or 4 times a day. Yeah, literally like 3 or 4 times a day. I'd get up in the morning, I'd check the scale. I would, you know, go to the gym. I checked the scale again beforehand. I don't know why. I just did it like 20 minutes before my drive to the gym. And then I would because I was thinking maybe, oh, the gym scale might be different than the home scale. So, maybe the pounds might be a little bit different, half a pound, 1 pound. And then I'd work out, do a full workout, and then I would check the scale again. And then I would check the scale again before bed. That's how obsessive, that's how obsessed I was over the scale. That's how much effect it had over me. That's how much control it had over me. It took me a long time to realize, man, you know what, dude? I cannot let a box with numbers literally control me. Like, and that's exactly the whole point of this episode that I want to share with you guys. It's, honestly, man, like I get it. The scale for most of us, especially on a typical weight loss journey, how do you judge results? How do you define results? And we all go and gravitate towards the number one element that judges results on a journey such as health, fitness, weight loss, especially is the scale. But you have to understand, man, that's not true. It's not true. The point of my episode here right now to tell you guys it is not true. The scale does not define you, right? It does not define your results. You are going to have days where the human body can literally push itself as hard as it can possibly push itself, but the scale is not going to move, right? But your body still can be changing. If you have a certain plan, a certain cardio plan, a certain weightlifting plan, if you're doing a high intensity type of training where you're doing like a 20 20 20, a 75 hard, and your body is morphing and your body is changing, you're still getting results, man. Just because the scale isn't moving, that doesn't mean that you're not getting results. I mean, stop worrying about what the scale says. I know of all people I know, I promise you, man, I used to be so obsessed. It literally took control over me. And I've seen a lot of people today that still will call me, text me, DM me all the time and being like, hey, wall breaker, man, like I've been putting the work in, but the scale is not moving. What do I do? And I give the same exact answer as I give everybody else. I'm like, just keep going. I'm like, just keep going. Keep showing up. Wake up, go to the gym, or if you have a home gym, whatever the case is, go for a run outside, go do some quick dumbbells, do some quick push-ups, sit-ups, Pilates, yoga, whatever it is you got to do, man. Just move your body, man. Every day, move your body, get some activity going, get some blood flow going. Do it every day. That is the answer. There is no other answer. That is the answer. Eventually, you keep doing it over and over and over and over again. The scale will move, the results will come, and you will see it. I mean, it's going to happen, right? I just lost 200 pounds, man. I think I know a little bit or two about what I'm talking about here. Promise. I promise you, with all of my heart, man. Trust me when I say this. There were so many times where I was working out just as hard, if not harder, and the scale was not moving. And it took me a long time to understand one in particular line that I heard somebody say to me a long time ago. It's always progression over perfection. Okay, I'm going to say it again. It's always progression over perfection. We are not perfect. We are far from perfect. We're going to fall. We're going to cry. We're going to bleed. We're going to struggle. We're going to suffer. We're going to complain. We're going to get pissed off. We're going to get angry. We're going to get antsy. We want results. We want them now. We want them right away. We want it this second. It doesn't happen overnight. It will never happen overnight. And if you ask me how long, my answer to you is as long as it takes. As long as it takes, right? Everyone has different goals, everyone has different visions, everyone has different dreams, everyone has different outcomes that they're trying to achieve, right? So that's up to you and you alone. But I promise you, if you keep obsessing over looking at that goddamn scale every day, every minute, every second, thinking about it, I feel like the further away your goal, your dream, your greatness, your destiny, whatever the end game is you're trying to achieve, I feel like it's going to go further away from you. Stop putting so much pressure on yourself, man. You know, I tell people this all the time. Stop comparing your journey, your story to anyone else. You are only fighting the person in the mirror. Don't compare yourself to me. Don't compare yourself to any other health professional, guru or any fitness influencer or anybody on social media. That's their journey. That's their story. That's great for them. You are facing you. Okay. Stop putting pressure on yourself. If you lose 1 pound, that's still greatness to me. If you lose 2 pounds, that's still greatness to me. But if it comes in a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, that's still greatness. And sometimes that could happen, right? Sometimes that could happen. You have to tell yourself progress over perfection, okay? Progress over perfection. Just keep hammering that in your mind. And for some of you sports fanatics out there, who's the number one guy I always think of all the time? I mean, Michael Jordan, right? He played 7 years for the Bulls and he didn't win his first championship until, year 8, right? But if you think about the trajectory of his career, it's kind of like the typical trajectory of a lot of sports teams, a lot of sports athletes, right? The Bulls, they would go to the first round of the playoffs. They would get swept by whoever, the Celtics or the Pistons, and they were losing. And then you would get to the semifinals, and then you would lose again. Then the next year you get to the conference finals, and then you might lose again. Then you get to the finals, and then you're like, oh my God, like finally all the years, all the work, everything I put into it. Is it going to be time now for me to go ahead and, reach that mountaintop, right? And it took Michael Jordan 7 years of work, of falling, of failing, of crying and bleeding and struggling and suffering. 7 years, the greatest player ever to touch a freaking basketball. It took him that long. And if there's one image that a lot of you sports fans hopefully know about this, and eyes do, and as well as I do, is the iconic picture of when Michael Jordan won his first title. If you guys remember, he took the trophy and he was just holding it and just clutching it and just crying so hard. And I feel like that is such an iconic picture and an iconic moment. Why? Because he worked so hard. I mean, he worked so hard to finally achieve that goal. And I don't know if he's ever said this or not, but I promise you, if somebody were to ask him this now, I feel like he'll tell you that it was all worth it, right? All of it, all the pain, all the losing, all of the so-called failures, XYZ, that, pundits would say, or people might think that they were failures at that time. And failure, you can look at it from so many different angles and perspectives, right? To me, failure is just a stepping stone. It's just a stepping stone. It's a learning experience. It is a stepping stone and a learning experience of, hey, I tried something. It didn't work out this time. Let me go back. How do I get better? I tell my son all the time, losing is a beautiful thing. And I'm going to quote the late great Kobe Bryant here when he talked about this too. Losing is beautiful because you have to go back and analyze, what did I do wrong? Why did I lose? How did I lose? What are some of the positives that I can take from that loss? And then how do I learn from the mistakes of why I lost? And then when I come back the next time around, I'll be ready and hopefully I can win. It's just like this journey, right? You are working out, you're doing the same, routine, you have the same diet plan, meal plan, etc. And then all of a sudden you're like, man, nothing is working, right? And then you're like, okay, nothing is working. And in your story, in your journey, that might feel like a failure. Like, oh my God, I'm failing. No, you're not failing. You have to learn. Go back and try something else. Maybe the meal plan that you've been stuck to, your body might be plateauing and it's probably not accepting the routine or the meal plan that you're currently using right now. So let me go ahead and try to tweak something. Let me fix something. Let me edit something, just like in basketball or football or in sports. for the same reasons that I just told you, right? It's like, okay, man, like, we had this starting lineup. Let me try another starting lineup. Let me insert somebody else from the bench into this starting lineup. Let's run another type of defense. Let's run another type of offense. I mean, going back to the Bulls, I mean, they ran a isolation heavy offense. Michael Jordan was still the best player in the league, but he kept getting his ass kicked because he was getting his points, he was getting his stats, but the Bulls were not winning. It's a team sport. And then Phil Jackson came in here and showed him the infamous triangle, right? Michael, we need you to run our offense. We gave you the ball. It wasn't working. Now let's get the team involved. Let's run this offense and let's see how it unfolds, right? And I think if you guys have Google, I think we can Google the story of how Phil Jackson did and how Michael Jordan did and and like how their careers ended up after that happened, right? But it's truly the best example of learning, right? Learning from your mistakes, learning from your so-called failures. How do I improve? How do I get better? What do I need to do to get those results, right? And it also, when it comes to the scale, you have to understand, right? I mean, everyone's body is different. Everyone's body reacts differently. Everyone's body moves differently. Everybody has different body types. Everybody has different just, compositions. So in terms of advice, when it comes to the scale, honestly, I think the one piece of advice I would give you is check your weight once a week. Okay, once a week. Try to do that because I feel like that's when you will get a full progression of your status. Kind of like how The Biggest Loser was, the TV show. I loved how they would just do it once a week because the body is going through so many changes throughout the week. How much water you're intaking, how your diet is throughout the week, when you're sleeping, when you're waking up, how the body is, how are the fluids coming in and out of your system when you're sweating, how is just everything going on, throughout the entire week, right? And then how many hours of sleep are you getting also? What kind of calories are we intaking? So I feel like you're never going to get the true progress of where you are until you do it once a week, at least in my opinion, right? Try once a week. But if you're somebody that used to do what I used to do, obsessively, compulsively, just checking the scale over and over and over again. Like, did I lose another quarter pound today, another half a pound today, another a pound today? Man, I promise you, it's going to literally control you. It's going to literally just take a stranglehold over your brain, and then it can really help derail and discourage your progress because you're going to be like, man, like I'm doing all this work and the scale's not even moving. Screw this, man. I'm done. And believe me, I've had those moments in my life where I felt that way too. I mean, literally, there were so many moments where I would be like, okay, man, you know what? Screw this. And then I would just go eat whatever I wanted to and, you know, douse a 2 liter whenever I wanted to. And that's why I kept failing so much in my first 27 years. Because even those times where I would genuinely try to lose weight, I would go consistently, on my own, try to work out for maybe 3, maybe 4 days, which is like nothing, right? And, maybe I'd lose a couple pounds and then I would do the same thing for another, few days and then nothing was moving. And obviously, there was a lot of accountability I did not take in those times because I know my diet was different. I think I was still eating the same. I wasn't really cleaning it up per se. I probably wasn't pushing myself as hard in my training as obviously I am now. So that's why probably the scale wasn't moving. It's about accountability, man. You have to be accountable too. Stop blaming the scale for not moving. It's also you. Again, it goes back to learning from your failures, learning to why you lost, right? Just like I talked about how Kobe would say, like learn from it. Failure is a learning experience. That's all that it is. You tried something and didn't work out. How do we move forward? How do we get better from it? Right? So I think going back to the advice factor, just don't weigh yourself until once a week. Okay. And also, another piece of advice that I would honestly say is just try to honestly take a lot of pictures, right? Take pictures of yourself every few days. Go in the mirror, and just take pictures, like front pictures, side pictures, and then you'll see progress too. Because again, when you are doing cardio and you're lifting weights, the body is going to start morphing, start shaping itself out. And again, that doesn't mean the scale will move. A lot of times it will not move. But if you take pictures and you're consistently taking pictures of your body every few days, maybe every few weeks, and you start doing comparisons, I promise you, you're going to tell yourself like, okay, wow, man, I'm starting to see it, right? Because we see ourselves every single day when we wake up in the mirror. So it's very hard to even see or believe that you're seeing any change. But I promise you, it's really hard when you're doing it every day and you're looking in the mirror every day. Even a guy like me, as crazy as it sounds, I promise you, I still wouldn't see progress. Even when I lost my first 76 pounds, and I remember they put my picture up at the gym board because, I did it in the first, 3 months. And I think it was like 14 weeks. And I won some contest at the gym and they had my whole like, award, like biggest loser award. Like you lost 76 pounds in 14 weeks. I promise you, I would still look in the mirror and I would still see the same guy. The crazy thing is sometimes I look in the mirror and I still see the same guy that I was when I was 400 pounds. It's crazy. But if you've seen the movie Central Intelligence with The Rock, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. He was Robbie Weirdick, Bob Stone. He was this, really obese kid, and he got thrown out in the gymnasium naked by a bunch of bullies. Everyone laughed at him. He went, away, came back, and then he became The Rock, and he met Kevin Hart, at the restaurant at the bar, and he came back just jacked out. And then there was a scene where they went to the school, and he looked in the mirror, but he looked in the mirror as The Rock, as he was constructed, jacked out of his mind. But when he was looking at the mirror, he would see the overweight kid that was bullied. I'll be dead honest with you guys. I see that guy, my old self, a lot. I really do. So that's how much of an effect the scale had on me. The scale did that to me, believe it or not, because I would always tell myself, you know what, man, I don't know if I'm even getting results. Am I losing weight? How do I feel? But that's how much of a true weight, pun intended, that the scale had over me. That's how much just a mental effect it had over me. Don't let it happen to you. As Kobe Bryant would say, it's truly not about the destination. It's the journey. Get up, go to work, hammer it every single day. Just keep showing up every single day. I promise you, the scale will move, the results will come, and then you will feel more confident. Take pictures, weigh yourself once a week. Don't let the scale define you. The scale does not define you. It does not define your results. The work, your passion, your drive, your dedication, your hunger, your commitment, that is what's going to define you. And I promise you, if you stick to it just every single day, even the days you don't want to do it, I promise you, you're going to feel so much better and the results will come. But hopefully, after hearing this episode, you will realize, man, that the scale does not define you. Right? It never did and it never will. I don't care how much weight you lost. I don't care how amazing you look. I don't care how shredded you are. I don't care if you have a six pack, right? Your heart defines you. Be kind, be humble, be a good person, man. Work hard, help your peers out. If people need help, help them out. And always remember, man, at the end of the day, it's always you versus you. No more comparisons. Don't worry if somebody else lost 5 pounds or 10 pounds or 50 pounds in XYZ amount of time, or somebody else seems like they're in better shape, or the scale might be moving for them. Who cares? Again, I'm going to say it again, man. Who cares? It's you versus you. Show up, become a beast, do it every single day. The scale will move, and the results will come. I promise, man. And always here to support any way that I can, as always. All right, guys, this wraps up our episode for today. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel at Raheel the Speaker. Make sure you hit that smash button. I'm on all audio platforms as well. Spotify, Apple, Deezer, you name it. Raheel Wallbreaker 200 on my Instagram. And I hope you guys great content from this episode. Thanks again. And until next time, peace out. Wallbreaker 200. We are out.